it's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on Nootropics. Thanks so much for being with me. So, I'm going to talk about this is a reader email, and I want to do more of these because these are really cool, where a person that watches the channel sent an email in about cholinergics and dreams. He's having some intense dreams after taking cholinergics. So, and the question was, is it these cholinootropics? Because this is getting really intense. The answer is yes, and I will break that down here in this video. In the meantime, go support us at livecortex.com. Look, we have epic nootropic products. The Cortex stack, motivation, mental energy, verbal fluency, the drive to work. Buy it singularly or do auto ship. Auto ship you should probably get if you want the stack shipped to you every month for the same price at the same time. But also if you're new to Cortex, do auto ship first. And if you find the stack doesn't jive with you well, you can just cancel it, but you'll have gotten it for cheaper. But if you love the stack, then it just comes automatically every month at the same time. 3 different levels on nootropics expertise, if you will, on courses. Number 1, if you're brand new, Nootropics Ground Zero. Shows you the groundwork, lays everything out, gives you stacks, shows you how to use them. If you're in a couple years but want to ascend to the 6-year mark, Nootropics Masterclass. That is another video course that you have to get if you're within that range. And if you want to go all the way to the 10-year plus mark and learn the stuff that we don't talk about on this channel that I usually execute when dealing with big business people around the world, get the Nootropics God course. That just launched, and it is sick. It will teach you how to induce states on cue. It'll teach you ERS. It'll teach you formulating stacks perfectly, formulating to finalization, adjusting to finalization, and so much more. And then lastly, if you want to work with me on a one-on-one capacity to help you establish a bunch of nootropic stacks, get you on an ERS, but also optimize energy baseline if we need to. We've got consults for that. People pay us a lot of money to have them firing on all cylinders, mostly business folks. 3.5 months or 6 months. Do that at livecortex.com. Okay, so I'm just going to read you user's email. He goes, "Hey Ryan, love the content lately. Thanks so much for putting everything out." You are very welcome. Thank you so much for being here. He goes, "I've been taking some cholinergic nootropics lately, and I've noticed that at nighttime when I'm sleeping, I'm having some really intense dreams, some of which are scaring me. What gives?" So I responded back to him. I was like, "All right, well, what are you taking exactly?" And he just responded back saying, "I'm taking citicoline, ataracetam, Noopept, coliracetam, and DMAE." So I don't know what cycle he's using or what he's dosing on any of these compounds, but there's a lot to unpack here. But to answer the question as a generalization first, yes, it is the acetylcholine, but we're going to get into why. Acetylcholine in the cortex is highest during waking time and during REM sleep, and it's lowest during delta sleep. Okay, so that's like one kind of validation that acetylcholine is involved in, this guy's dreams and kind of, intense dreams in general. We know that drugs and chemicals that act as agonists of the cholinergic receptors increase REM, and we also know clinically that antagonists of the cholinergic receptors decrease REM. Okay, more validation that it's the acetylcholine causing this guy to have insane dreams. So it's something to do with REM sleep, right? Yes. You can find a study on Google. I would urge you to read it if you're interested in this. It's called "Can Acetylcholine Make You Dream?" in which it says, I just want to kind of give you this paragraph. During a dream, even when a person is not connected to the external environment, the cortex dramatizes with the already stored memories, mimicking hallucination. You're just hallucinating, man. It's all good. Where was I? Yes, the content of the dream is the replica of the real world involving sensory modalities, making it difficult for the person to differentiate between the two. Right, so that somewhat explains kind of why you're in dreams, and sometimes you don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. And if it's a bad dream or something terrible is happening, you wake up and you're like, "Oh fuck, thank God." We've all had that experience. It's actually kind of fun when you wake up, of course, not being in the dream. And acetylcholine, we do know for sure is involved in all things memory, but as it relates to sleep, formulating memories and processing information that you took in during the day. We also know clinically that galantamine, which is a choline esterase inhibitor, it's basically a chemical that will prevent the degradation of brain acetylcholine for a finite, controlled, reversible period. and it's important that it's reversible because you don't want to accumulate too much acetylcholine. That can be toxic. Galantamine helps people have lucid dreams. So we know that clinically. And its main mechanism of action is to increase acetylcholine concentrations. More validation that it's acetylcholine. But whether or not it's the acetylcholine itself inducing the dreams, or it's the higher levels of acetylcholine inducing more REM sleep, because that's what it does, that remains unknown, right? I haven't actually, looked at it. There's probably some other mechanisms involved in dreaming, but acetylcholine is at the very least, we can confidently say the trigger of the cascade, right? And again, with lower levels of it, you won't really have many dreams or remember them, and with higher levels, you definitely will. Either way, looking at this person's stack, which again is citicoline, aniracetam, Nupep, coliracetam, and DMAE, and unknown frequency and unknown doses, the cholinergics are definitely responsible for the intense dreams. Again, directly or indirectly. And a lot of people have experienced this, by the way, with huperzine A, which is a nootropic cholinergic esterase, choline esterase inhibitor. It's in the classical kind of roster of nootropics. In fact, I got into understanding that acetylcholine was largely responsible, or at least again the beginning of this cascade for crazy dreams, when I took too much huperzine A. This was when was this? 10 years ago or something. I took nearly 1,000 micrograms, which you should never do, of huperzine A. It was a lot, and that's when I had no idea what I was doing. So I dosed it, and I felt uber strange. I think I got sick a couple times, and then I was sitting there half awake and half dreaming, but awake. So I was awake, but I felt like I was in a dream, and I was dreaming, and my brain was processing all this information. It was a wild experience, and I don't suggest it, and it was not fun, but huperzine A, that experience kind of got me into reading about this. So the answer is yes. I would say the cholinergics are definitely inducing vivid dreams. And by the way, cholinergics in my stack are, again, we talked about recently, I might take a cholinergic on a Monday, a cholinergic stack, and then I usually don't take any choline-related chemicals until Thursday or Friday. And I'm just taking other stuff in between, mostly dopamine stuff and adenosine antagonists and energy nootropics and whatever. But each time that I do take a cholinergic stack, I definitely notice my dreams are more intense. That I confirmed that many, many years ago, and it still happens to this day. But generally, my dreams are intense. So what would be my suggestion? Person, if you're watching this, man, I don't know what your doses are. So, but you're at, if the dreams are getting to the point where they're kind of freaking you out, you might want to lower the doses on some of your stuff or take some breaks. And I don't know if you're cycling or not or what's going on. So, pay attention to that. Major point of this video, take cholinergics, probably have some lucid dreams, and probably have some vividly intense dreams that may even scare you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Go support us live, Cortex.com, epic nootropic products, the Cortex stack. Again, do auto ship if you're new to Cortex. Just sign up for auto ship. It gets you Cortex shipped at the same time, at the same price every month. But if you love the stack, then it just continues shipping to you. And if you don't like it, you will have gotten it for cheaper. 3 different levels of using nootropics via video courses. Number 1, Nootropics Ground Zero if you're brand new. Nootropics Masterclass if you're in a couple years and want to ascend at the 6-year mark. And Nootropics God Course if you want to go past the 10-year mark into sort of the God level of using nootropics. I mean, it's the no bullshit stuff that I use when I'm executing consults with clients on nootropics. God Course just launched, and it is an hour and a half long. Get it livecortex.com. Lastly, if you want to work with me on a one-on-one capacity to establish a bunch of nootropic stacks as well as fix your baseline energy to make sure you're functioning really, really awesome, and then have you firing on all cylinders with nootropics. I mean, look, I usually get the call from the business person who's like, I'm not functioning well, I'll pay you whatever, I just want to fire on all cylinders. And that's my job. It's what I do. It's what I love to do. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. 3.5 months or 6 months, those are the consult duration timeframes. You can find those at livecortex.com. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Talk to you next time.